The next batch of questions, because again, the first 3 bullets are covered here. Where did you go to school? Where do you work? Where have you worked? And who do you connect to? Now we get into personal affiliations, your hobbies, your sports teams, your opinions. You know, how many of you are excited about the football game yesterday? How many of you are crushed over it? How many of you could care less? You're going to tell me on Facebook. You're going to share with me your height, your weight, and your gender on MySpace. I'm tall and slender. I'm athletic build. When you're traveling, again, if you drink coffee, all these other bullet points are things that you're now sharing in Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Pinterest, all these different social networks that are out there. Something I want to mention, too, that also applies to LinkedIn. It applies to Facebook. It applies to all social network searching. You can look for a person by their name, their nickname, their email address, and their cell phone number. These are 4 key pieces that most people tend to put into all their profiles. I'm given this huge list of Robert Martins, and it's too much to look through. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to click over to the people link. That'll filter this down to just Robert Martins who are people. Once that happens, search tools are offered up. I can look for Robert Martin specifically to location, education, or workplace. So I'll say location, and I'll try a New York, New York. And these are all my Robert Martins in New York, New York. And granted, it's a very big name, you know, popular name. I can add other filters and narrow this down. But, you know, I could go through the whole list and see if I could find him. And let's just kind of grab somebody here. Let's look at this fellow. He's Robert Martin. He studied at the University of Georgia. He's from Savannah, a nice little city there. He's got 691 friends. Maybe it's the Star Vodka he's a big interest in. You know, he became very sociable with it. So all these things. Now, we see all these little bits and pieces on him. The most valuable thing, even though I think he's a little loose in his friending, is that you get his friends list. This is the most valuable thing you can get in an investigation online. Is who do they associate to? Who are they friends with? You know, I can look for all the other Martins that he's connected to. These are probably relatives of some form or another, especially Vincent Martin, who's also in Savannah, Georgia, and Mary Jane. These are all going to be different relatives, cousins, brothers, parents, children. So we start building up this nice list.
You can use this, but you can't necessarily take the information you're gathering through your fake account into a courtroom, but it can certainly inform your investigation path.
Well, yeah, what we call this is intelligence gathering.
Okay.
We absolutely call this intelligence gathering. I'm just kind of going on to our piece here. We're talking about what a private investigator or law enforcement officer is going to use to gather bits and leads. When I say this is intelligence, it's not evidence. I don't necessarily want that person to walk into the courtroom and say, look what I found. I want them to use it as a lead, and then I want them to get solid evidence to back it up.